I didn't realize you were there. You're Joy Cash, right? Have a seat. Mary, please go ahead.
Aloha, my name's Mary DeVincent. I'm a registered voter in Keau and have a small farm, and I wholeheartedly support Bill 109 and or Bill 113, except for the corn portion, because I read corn pollen could travel 500 miles. 500 miles. Shocked me. And I ask the county members here, please support some bill to stop GMO from polluting our island. This is my third time testifying on this subject, and I'll be back again and again and again until something's done, because I feel we really need to protect our people, our land, our water. Someone has to do it. Corporations are just out for themselves and for the profit. I really feel for the papaya farmers here that are in this dilemma, but I strongly suggest and hope that they will try to come up with other crops to make a living that won't be harmful. I'm not saying papayas are harmful, but I did read an article just last night that they were growing Hawaii papayas in Indonesia for China, and they found that the papaya there was contaminating other crops. So they took them out and they banned GMO. In Japan, a country that totally bans GMO, they found canola growing around 5 of 6 Japanese ports just from taking the product over to market and along the roads on the way to the market. That's how invasive GMO products are. This is scary. This is scary for humanity. I feel we need to take a step. Companies like Monsanto are only out for their profit, just like the big tobacco companies were. They're not going to tell us the truth. The other tobacco companies knew they were killing people slowly, and that's exactly what's going to happen with the GMO. If it's not that way, prove it. Prove it. Let them put a label on their product. That's not happening. We need to take this step, and we need to take it today. I'm not for an ad hoc committee. I don't want to stall.
Thank you. Ms. Cash.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Please give your name first.
Oh, my name is Joy Cash, and I'm a resident of Hilo. And I come before you for a second time. I represent 7 generations of farmers, starting in Ireland. And they went to monocrop in Ireland and created millions to die in Ireland. So my family had to come to the United States and began farming here, and since the early 1800s. So I have a very clear history of farming and how difficult that life can be. And I also have a history, my family were farming before any chemicals were produced. And we were feeding the world without GMO crops. And, I find it exceedingly interesting that Americans can be so arrogant to ignore 13 countries in the world finding reason to banning GMO crops, and over 64 countries on our shared planet limiting and labeling GMOs. There's reasons for this, and I think you've been given abundant testimony from knowledgeable people. And to the proponents of GMO, I say I want to see longitudinal studies, human studies, before we are used as a laboratory. It's wise, it's sensible. And I really am concerned. I'm not here. I'm an old lady. I would be home playing Scrabble. No, I'm here because I'm concerned to leave the world a better place for our keiki, especially if we can't protect our keiki.
Thank you very much.
What value do we have? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're back to Kona.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Our last testifier today is Todd Andrews, in support of Bill 113, representing himself.
Hi, I'd like to thank Madam Chair and Margaret Willey for and I support the Bill 113. There's 5,500 farmers on the Big Island. 120 of them are GMO farmers. GMO papaya farmers. It says that it's going to exempt the papaya farmers. I think that shouldn't be a problem. And I come from Kohala. There's a lot of organic farmers in Kohala that would be cross-pollinated with GMO, corn, etc. in that area. That's all I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kona. If you get any more testifiers coming in, please let us know. Otherwise, I will not be calling on you again.
Okay.
Waimea, you have a testifier. Please go ahead.
Thank you. We have April Lee, and she represents Healthy People.
Aloha. Thank you very much, honorable council members, for applying your sentience and your mental acuity to this subject. I was born on Oahu. I am a small farmer and business person in North Kohala, and I was raised by a surgeon dad. I became a nurse when I was in high school, and I started studying genetics in high school. I can tell you right now that the genetic implications are so profound that are within the ability of these plants to modify our bodies, that there are many PhDs, including Nobel Prize winners, that have come out against genetically modified food, plants, and seeds. The death of people that have been forced to have a very non-economically viable farm with GMO, like in India, there have been 300,000 of these poor Indian farmers that have committed suicide. Why? Because they have to buy their seeds every year. Heirloom seeds are something that we can keep sustainability here on our island. If we get cut off, if there's a disaster, or we've had storms lately that have come close, we've been lucky. We need to think about the fact that this is an economically disastrous situation if we let it continue. And the Monsanto money is like the financial domination of so much of our industry that we end up with a removal of our civil liberties and our individual right to pursue, not only to pursue happiness, but to be happy and healthy. This is a key, and when you look at the history of Monsanto and the toxic chemicals that have probably harmed or made more suffering on this planet than the wars that we've entered into, excepting nuclear.
Thank you very much for your testimony. Kona, do you have one more testifier? Because you just had one earlier.
No more testifiers in Kona.
Thank you. All right, in Hilo, Katharine Garcia, Andrea Rosanov, to be followed by David Zeisler and Alexa Van Alleman. Okay, Katharine Garcia, is that you, ma'am?
Yes.
Go ahead, please identify yourself on the microphone.
Aloha. My name is Katharine Garcia, and I am Kama'aina from the Ka'au area. I am in support of Bill 109. I'm definitely opposed to an ad hoc committee which will just delay the passage of this critical bill. There are two dangers from the GMO crops. First, the GMO foods have been extensively tested, over 30 major research tests all around the world. They've been found linked to be causative for stomach and colon cancer, kidney and liver disease, breast cancer, lower sperm count, and other types of cancers and leukemias. Right here in the Hawaiian Islands, they are growing corn engineered with the human hepatitis virus. Right here in the Hawaiian Islands, they are growing corn which has a human gene in it that contains antibodies that attack human sperm. This corn acts as a contraceptive, a birth control that kills human sperm. This is what you are eating. The gentleman that testified earlier about the genocide was perhaps going overboard. But on the other hand, it has been proven that the corn, not all the varieties of corn, but this particular corn that has had a human spermicidal gene introduced to it causes lower sperm count in men. I don't think any of the men want to have that. The second danger comes from the deadly poisons that are sprayed onto the crops. Roundup is almost identical chemically to Agent Orange, which was used in Korea and Vietnam. It too has extensive health problems associated with it. The big chemical companies that tell you that the GMO foods are not
Sorry, your time is up.
Okay,
Thank you, though.
second meeting.
Andrea Rosanov.
Thank you. I'm Andrea Rosanov, and I am a researcher in nutritional biology, and I am Director of Research at the Center for Magnesium Education and Research, but I am testifying here for myself as a comment. I am trying to comment to the Council on the use of glyphosate and the widespread use of it and the growing use of it over the world, and especially in North America. And this comes about really from the advent of the glyphosate-resistant crops. It's been used for many years before that to get rid of plants and weeds and bacteria. That's what it's designed to do on land before farmers would seed the land. But of course, they would never use it on their crops before because it would kill the crops. That was what it did. But with the glyphosate-resistant crops that started around 1996 with glyphosate-resistant soy, and now there's many of them out there, this pesticide, this herbicide is used while these crops are growing because it kills the weeds, and it doesn't kill the crop. And so the usage of this pesticide has grown staggeringly around the world, and it's in overuse, and it has implications for aquatic. It kills bacteria and protozoa. It kills probably the flora and the fauna that are in the human and animal GI tract. It has some teratogenic activity. It's been shown in birds and amphibians. That means birth defects. There's the high emergence of glyphosate-resistant weeds that are happening now as a result of this overuse. And I believe that both bills, both of them would allow the glyphosate-resistant crop that we do have on this island to go for another 30 months at least. And I would just like the council to go into mind to remember that the glyphosate has been used by the county and many people for weed control for a long time, but no monitoring has been done of our environment, our aquifers, or our soil. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I want to make an announcement once again. If you're not feeding the parking meters out there, you might have gotten a notice on your car, but the next time the officer comes through, he or she will be citing anyone who's got an expired time. So just be aware, you need to periodically feed the meters. Thank you. That'll be my last announcement. Okay, next is David Zeisler. I hope I'm saying that correctly. And Alexa Van Alleman. Either one of them? Okay, I'll put them aside. Eric Tanouye. Sir, you've already been up to testify once. No. Your son? Boy, does your son look just like you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. And Judith Mura? Okay. Eric, go ahead.
Good afternoon. My name is Eric Tanouye. I'm representing Hawaii Floriculture and Nursery Association, and thank you for hearing me today. I stand by my testimony submitted earlier, and I just wanted to share my comments. Our organization is over 300 members. We're statewide, and as I mentioned earlier, we're small business. Most of them family farms, so they make their livelihoods on what we do. All of what we export, all of what we sell in the state, majority of these funds stay in the state. Mostly stay on the Big Island. We have the majority share of the membership. Our industry is fashion-oriented. So what that really means is that we embrace change. That means everything we can do, we're looking to to initiate new product. Whether the product is different color, scented, higher yield, or whether it's resistant to disease or pests. What we embrace is innovation. What biotechnology offers our industry is survival. As you have seen over the last 30 to 40 years, the world has come to Hawaii and taken everything. We've shared it. That is our culture. That's why we as an industry need this technology so we can continue to stay ahead. My personal story is my father, when he started, the world was coming here. I saw the world come here for our flowers and plants. And I'd like to be able to, how should I say this? Participate in a level where I can have that vision, so one day when my son is now running our company, he can see the world come to Hawaii too for our unique products. And if we can embrace change and go to a task force or a study group or an ad hoc committee and study this problem out, we probably can find the answers together. Thank you.
Thank you. Judith Mura?
Aloha Council.
Okay, you need to press the light at the bar, and you're going to identify your name. Christine Kubat and Jeff Shaw, please come on up. Go ahead, ma'am.
Aloha Council members. My name is Judith Mura.
Yes.
I'm a mother of 3 and a grandmother of 2 wonderful boys. I'm also a home gardener since I was 7 years old in my parents' home. All the vegetables for my table always have come from our organic, non-GMO garden. My love for good quality food is ingrained in my soul, which brings me to the question of whether GMO food is good for us. My feeling is that we can argue this point for 5 years from now or till the cows come home. I did the research, and there are arguments from each side. I believe what the Europeans have to say. GMO and chemically grown foods are the cause of cancer and poor immune systems. I do not like being next to a smoker or drive with a drunk. For my protection and rights to live, laws have been set in place, so I don't have to. And to protect my human rights and civil rights, these laws are at play. I would love it if laws against growing genetically modified foods were set in place to protect those of us who do not want our gardens cross-pollinated and breeding with these other pollutants that are GMO. Cross-pollination is a huge issue here due to the honeybee and others. Cross-pollination would greatly impact on my personal right, civil liberty, and that of my children, my grandchildren, and all of us who want nothing to do with the consumption of GMO foods.
Thank you for your testimony. We're going to take a 10-minute break. We've got a technical problem.